Welcome back to this Thirsty Thursday edition of Liquid Lunch. I'm John Tobacco. We're coming to you today, of course, like we do every day from 12 to 2 Eastern from the Question Tequila Studios. Right here we are in the Newsmax headquarters in Midtown Manhattan. And before we were at this wonderful studio at Newsmax headquarters, our humble beginnings were in a small side bedroom of an apartment at 25 Broad Street, high atop Bobby Van's restaurant. And my good friend and resident liberal friend, or somewhat liberal friend, Tim Collins joins us. He's the general manager of Bobby Van's Steakhouse, dear friend of mine. And when Liquid Lunch is over and I need to hear an opposing point of view to keep me sane, I go down to Bobby Van's downtown at 25 Broad Street, where you should all be going, and talk to Tim. And sometimes he talks some sense into me. I never talk any sense into him because he's always right on his point. But Tim, there's so much stuff in the news. Me and you talk all the time, and I like bouncing ideas off of you. And sometimes we're lucky enough to have Arthur Cash in there. But what is going on with Greenland? I know you really want to talk about Greenland.
Well, I mean,
why are we going to war with the Danish?
It's hard to imagine that this is anything other than some sort of diversionary tactic by the Trump administration.
Wrong with the Danish
normally,
myself.
I don't attribute them to strategic thinking, but this is what this seems like to me. I mean, our best friends, the only other country in the world that celebrates our Independence Day. We're going to war with them. We're basically said it's the equivalent of someone saying, I want to buy your house. You're going to buy that house. And when he says, I'm not interested in selling my house, what we're going to do is we're going to graffiti the house when it's done and insult the Prime Minister, Ms. Frederickson.
Yeah, I mean,
the Danish of all people. I spent
there's nothing insulting about this Danish.
That's a good Danish.
You know what we did during World War I? We renamed everything German. Sauerkraut became Liberty Cabbage. You know, everything, all the German names gone. I say we rename the Danish. If they don't want to give us Greenland, make it a freedom pastry. It's a liberty pastry.
I actually, last year, I had the fortune to spend, it's funny on this with I had the fortune to spend my vacation with 5 Danish families. The wealthiest person I think I know is Danish, because people talk about the Danes all the time, saying, wow, it's a giveaway there. No one's getting rich in Denmark. The richest guys I know.
Well, how did dessert come to be named for their people?
I don't know. They're just lucky, I guess.
There's no pastry.
It could be worse, right?
There's no pastry. The Irish.
What I was telling Frank was, if the French were going to war about Greenland, it would be the croissants versus the Danishes. Yeah. It would be the bakery wars.
Well, let's take a look at what the president tweeted here about this situation with Greenland. I agree with you. I think it was silly to cancel the trip to Denmark to see the prime minister, but she should have been a little nicer in her declination to sell Greenland. Shouldn't she have?
I disagree. I mean, come on. This is the president doing what he does best: obfuscate, redirect.
Exactly.
Lie. Let's call it for what it is. You know, I mean, there's no realistic expectation of us taking over Greenland. The Vikings were there 600 years ago.
I think there is a realistic expectation.
The president is trying to buy. The president is trying to buy Greenland. Meanwhile, the guy that would like his job, Bill de Blasio, is trying to save a local pizzeria, and apparently he can't even do that well. John.
Tim is not only a great friend and a general manager, knows what's happening. The beat of the street happens in Bobby Van's downtown, because you got people of all different political persuasions. But now de Blasio comes in out of nowhere with this tweet, praising DeFara, this famous pizzeria, DeFara, who got shut down for unpayment of state taxes. They padlocked the joint.
DeFara is the best pizza place in New York City.
That's what
it must be said.
Everyone says that it is. And I'll tell you one thing. Anyone that is only taking cash in New York City, if you think they owe $167,000, triple it, quadruple it. They owe a lot more than $167,000.
Wow.
They just got off easy. And if you think they don't have the money to pay it, I got a bridge to say it.
There's probably a boatload of chock full of nuts cans buried in their backyard, loaded up with green cabbageola.
What I couldn't believe, right, why wouldn't they just pay it? And if Mayor de Blasio would like to pay it, the governor said, hey, why doesn't he pay it himself?
Look at what the governor
here's
said.
what Andrew Cuomo says.
Well, he has no legal authority to forgive state taxes. Now, if he wants to pay the $200,000 on behalf of the pizza place, he can do that. That's fine. And if he wants to get $200,000 worth of pizza, that's his business. But he can't forgive state taxes.
Well,
you think he's going to come to Bobby Vance's defense if you guys?
No, I would say that I would be nailed to the nearest cross if I didn't pay my state taxes. It would be
no doubt.
no
Scott
doubt in my
Stringer
mind.
lives right upstairs.
It wouldn't take long to be honest.
Down there with a little bit.
I don't want to impugn his motives. Those regular customers.
No.
He's a good man.
There's some news out today that 4.4 million Americans are living strictly off tips. Now, a lot of companies, I don't know how you guys handle this, but I know a lot of companies are saying if you tip on the card, then you have to pay an additional fee, an extra 3% for putting it on the credit card.
It varies. It's cheaper for Visa and MasterCard, but then you have American Express that charges 3%. So, it's obviously a cost of doing business, however. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't carry any cash or very, very little cash. In New York, they've really overcome the burden on the people that are earning the tips in that they make $10 an hour now. But throughout the nation, especially down south, they're really struggling. People don't tend to tip as much, and they're making $2 an hour, and it's a dead-end job. They haven't kept pace with inflation.
When I see a lot of these tourists, they don't even understand the concept of tipping European people, not like we do in the U.S.
It's definitely gotten way better. They're all aware now. But, 20 years ago, you go broke waiting on Europeans.
When this show is over, each day, and Liquid Lunch is over, we go down, go to Bobby Vance, and we have our meetings and we talk politics. So if you're not coming here, come to Bobby Vance, say hello to Tim, let him know you heard about Bobby Vance on Liquid Lunch, and he's one of our resident friendly left-wingers.
Ask him Mueller who? Mueller who?
And Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Great.
Commentary is always welcome
Frank,
here.
You're
watching Liquid Lunch. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with Joey Salads, candidate for Congress, and Kate Herman will fake some tweets at us. Maybe we'll have a drink. Back right after this.